Are you required to have an ignition interlock license and you want to drive a work-owned vehicle and not have to put an interlock in it? That sounds like a really good idea because otherwise you might get fired. So if you're in that situation, or if you're just interested about the law and how it exists in Washington state, this is the video for you. My name is Lance Fryrear. I'm the owner of the law offices of Lance Fryrear, and I have a criminal defense firm in Linwood, Washington. We've been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years. And it gets to be a very difficult situation when clients of ours have an ignition interlock license, but they have to drive a work vehicle. Maybe they drive for the post office, or maybe they work at a car dealership and have to test drive vehicles, or maybe they have a car that's been issued to them that it's their only car. And so they're really not allowed to put an interlock in that car. And if they do, they'll probably get fired. So what do we do about that? So I'm going to cover three things in this video. What is the work-owned vehicle exception for ignition interlock license situations? Number two, how do you take advantage of that exception? How does it actually work to get permission to drive a work-owned vehicle without an interlock, even though you have an interlock license? And number three, some common pitfalls to avoid. So I just put these videos out there to help the public. There's so little information. So if you find this helpful, please like the video, please subscribe. It just helps everybody do a better job and not, make mistakes out there trying to follow the confusing laws. So now I'm just going to jump right into it. So number one, what is the work-owned vehicle exception? Well, Department of Licensing says if you are required to drive a work-owned vehicle as part of your regular employment during your working hours, we're not talking your off hours, we're talking during your working hours, it basically says if the company owns, rents, or leases the vehicle, or is temporarily responsible for the vehicle, think a repair shop, something like that, where you've got to test drive the vehicle after a repair, then there is a situation where you as the employee are able to drive that vehicle if you follow the rules, even though there's not an interlock in it. So it's a mouthful, but it's the best way I can put it. Number two, so how does it work? How do you take advantage of this? Well, believe it or not, of course, there's a form that you have to download on the Department of Licensing website. And now take a look at the description to this video, and you'll see a link to the form as it exists in March of 2021 when I'm filming this. I'm going to put a link there, and there's also going to be a link to the general information about ignition interlock licenses. You want to read general information, just page away down, and then you'll see the stuff about work-owned vehicles. But basically, you have to get this form, and your employer, someone at the employer's place of business, needs to sign off certifying that, yes, you do need to drive for work purposes one of these vehicles. And basically, if they certify to that, then you have to do two things. You have to send in that certification to the Department of Licensing following the instructions on the form prior to driving, okay? And the other thing you have to do is you have to always carry a copy of that certification with you, because it's sort of Atari 2600 style is how I would put it. It's not really the most advanced system, and it's hard on police officers to figure out when you're driving a work-owned vehicle without an interlock, if you're allowed to do it or not. So you have to carry that with you at all times to show the police. So those are the requirements. You download the form, you have the employer sign it, you send it in, and you carry a copy prior to you driving. So thanks for staying to the end. Number three, what are common pitfalls? And we've seen these way too often. The most common pitfall is just not doing it, right? I just heard I can drive a work-owned vehicle without an interlock. That's what I'm doing. I need a form. What? It's not very clear. So the most common mistake is people just don't know what rules to follow, and that's why I'm putting out this video. Another mistake is not having the form with you when an officer pulls you over something and sees on your license you need an interlock and you don't have an interlock in your car. That's a serious crime you're going to get charged with. And so if you don't have that form with you, you're pretty much done, because again, the system isn't too great at the Department of Licensing side. It's always improving, but there's a reason why they want you to do it like this. Another pitfall we see is just messing around. What if you own your own business? right? And so are you signing on your own certification? It can get pretty hairy in that situation. You definitely want to talk to an attorney if it's your own business, because if an officer thinks you're gaming the system, they're going to cite you. Okay. And finally, one of the last things is, driving that work-owned vehicle home. That's a gray area. So you definitely have to be careful if an officer believes you're not driving it for work purposes. If that's what they believe, based upon what you tell them, you've taken your work-owned vehicle to the Mariners game. Um, that's not good. You're probably going to get cited with the crime. So again, thanks for staying to the end. I hope you find this helpful. If you do, please like the video and please subscribe to the channel. It helps us get our word out there to more people. And if you find yourself in this situation, if you're charged with a crime, you need some criminal help, again, we're always there to help. We've been defending people charged with crimes for more than 20 years. Again, I'm Lance Fryrear. Just give us a ring. We'll talk to you. We'll do everything we can for you, and we'll be there for you. Thank you.